When Luke Skywalker crashes onto the swampy planet of Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back, he expects to find a great warrior who will teach him to become a powerful Jedi. Instead, he encounters a small, seemingly frail creature who challenges every preconceived notion about heroism, strength, and wisdom. Yoda's teaching philosophy represents a radical departure from Western heroic traditions, embodying Eastern philosophical principles that fundamentally reshape our understanding of what it means to be truly powerful. The Western heroic tradition typically emphasizes physical prowess, aggressive action, and the accumulation of power to overcome obstacles. Heroes are expected to charge into battle, defeat enemies through superior force, and achieve victory through determination and strength. Luke arrives on Dagobah carrying these exact expectations, seeking someone who can make him strong enough to face Darth Vader and save his friends. His impatience and desire for quick results reflect the Western mindset of goal-oriented achievement and immediate gratification. Yoda's approach completely subverts these expectations. Rather than beginning with lightsaber combat or displays of force power, he focuses on Luke's internal state. The famous scene where Yoda lifts Luke's X-Wing from the swamp serves as a perfect metaphor for this philosophical divide. Luke's incredulous response that he doesn't believe it possible prompts Yoda's profound reply about belief and the nature of the Force. This moment encapsulates the Buddhist concept that our limitations are primarily mental constructs rather than physical realities. The Buddhist principle of non-attachment permeates every aspect of Yoda's teaching methodology. When Luke becomes frustrated with the seemingly mundane exercises of carrying Yoda on his back and balancing rocks, Yoda is teaching him to release attachment to expectations and outcomes. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment to desires and specific results creates suffering and clouds judgment. Luke's attachment to saving his friends, while noble in intention, becomes a source of weakness because it generates fear, anger, and reckless decision-making. Yoda's famous declaration that fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering directly parallels Buddhist teachings about the cycle of negative emotions and their destructive consequences. This represents a fundamental shift from Western heroic narratives, where anger and righteous fury often fuel the hero's strength and determination. Instead, Yoda teaches that true power comes from inner peace, emotional equilibrium, and the ability to act without being driven by passionate attachments. The concept of mindfulness, central to Buddhist practice, manifests throughout Yoda's training regimen. He constantly redirects Luke's attention to the present moment, away from concerns about the future or regrets about the past. When Luke's mind wanders to his friends in danger, Yoda emphasizes the importance of focusing on the here and now. This mindfulness training is essential for accessing the Force, which requires complete presence and awareness rather than scattered, anxious thinking. Yoda's physical appearance itself challenges Western assumptions about power and authority. His small stature, advanced age, and humble lifestyle on Dagobah contradict every visual cue associated with mighty warriors or wise kings in Western mythology. This deliberate subversion forces both Luke and the audience to confront their biases about where true wisdom and strength reside. In Eastern philosophy, the greatest masters often appear unremarkable externally while possessing profound inner development. The cave sequence on Dagobah represents perhaps the most sophisticated integration of Eastern psychological concepts into the Star Wars narrative. Rather than sending Luke to fight external enemies, Yoda directs him to confront his own inner darkness. The vision of Luke fighting and beheading Vader, only to see his own face beneath the mask, illustrates the Buddhist understanding that our greatest enemies are internal. This psychological insight predates modern therapeutic approaches by thousands of years, recognizing that external conflicts often reflect unresolved internal struggles. Yoda's teaching about the Force itself embodies Eastern concepts of universal consciousness and interconnectedness. His description of the Force as an energy field that binds all living things together reflects Hindu and Buddhist concepts of universal consciousness and the illusory nature of individual separation. This holistic worldview contrasts sharply with Western individualistic approaches that emphasize personal achievement and competition. Ultimately, Yoda's revolutionary teachings transforms not only Luke's understanding of power, but also the entire trajectory of the Star Wars saga, demonstrating how Eastern wisdom can enrich and deepen traditional Western narratives.